Now we're recording. And then
Great. Let's do that.
Yes, I feel like that's one of those things that we should do. What I should also do is actually find the intro, have that queued up. Then I go to share screen.
That would have been helpful.
It's usually better if you do that before you hit record. But
I know, but then I can't hit record
19
once I'm sharing the screen, the record option disappears.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemon Champ or Lucky Track Dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and build it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussions, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing. Whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and I give you just the tip, we are sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
That was me. This is Chrissy.
And I'm Mental. We are Everyone Racers. Thank you for joining us for a 30s BMW, by definition, not boring episode of this podcast. It's 319. Now, the BMW 319 was a six-cylinder variant of the 303 that was introduced in 1935, produced alongside the 315. The 319 differed from it mainly with its new, larger engine with a displacement of 1,911 cubic centimeters. This resulted in an increase of power to 45.6 horses at 37,500 RPM. The curb rate of the 319 was 1,874 pounds. It was discontinued in 1937 with a total of 6,646 BMW 319s built.
Oh, it's cool looking. It's got that swoopy
Art Deco style that was like, yeah.
Oh, it's like they're all like
that.
A lot of them look two-toned. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have to include a link to that in our show notes.
Sure. Or you could Google it. Let me Google that for you, which is what I just did. So there's that.
Well, somebody Google it because I didn't write that one. Somebody wrote that one for us. So that was great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's
somebody. It wasn't me. So that's narrowing it down. So
I feel like what two of us were working on is the show topic.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna sell him out a little bit. Chris was a little bummed because he didn't get to do his drunk at the library thing that he gets to do every year.
Drunk at the library. I was like, what are you talking about? Okay. Do you want me to tell you what I'm doing?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, great. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing. I'll go a little longer than I normally would because you guys don't have much to tell me because that's the show. And I have not heard anything. No, pretty much nothing about this race. So I know nothing about what you guys are going to tell me because Chris and I don't talk. So I said, hi, how are you? Fine, busy, bye. Okay. So I'm excited for our main topic this afternoon, but I will tell you about what I've been doing. So I've been doing lots of work. Work is over mandatory overtime. So I mean, we're going to work on Saturdays and helping them out. So that's okay. Whatever. Showing face, giving time. It's all good. So right after work, I went to, we have one of our biggest library fundraisers. So we have a thing called a wine pull. I don't think anybody got drunk. So drunk at the library, I guess is what we could call that. But it is it's called a wine pull. So we have, you buy a ticket, you get a wine tasting. There's a winery that comes to the library. You can buy glasses and bottles there. And you go, we have lots of food. We made all the food and brought all the food and prepped that all. And
so even not at the race, you're running the potluck.
Kind of. Well, yeah, I mean, I wasn't really running this event. I was there to help. So, but I was the person who was carrying a very heavy ladder around and hanging things from the ceiling. So, so that was just a lot of work, but it's okay. We had a good time. Basically when you buy a ticket, you go in, you get a bottle of wine. So you basically pick a bottle of wine that's in a bag. So you don't know what it is. You get food, you get drinks, you get, there's raffle prizes. And then we played bingo this year, which was a new thing. So yeah, people showed up. There was a line at the door. It was probably about 55, 56 people that showed up, which was pretty good. So we were not really sure how well that was going to go. So, good enough for us. So that was, all day Oh, that was, excuse me, that was, I was there from about 4 to 10. The event ran in time between there. Came home, unloaded my very full car, got ready, tried to get right in bed and go to sleep. And a couple hours later, I got up and drove to the racetrack. So I was up at about 4 to drive a couple hours to New Jersey Motorsports Park, where I went and had an HPD day. So it was NASA Northeast last HPD of the year. And I actually only went because the Fishers of Garage Heroes in Training, they were having a big event. They had all their whole family. They flew people in, really big day. Had 4 different RVs. Their spread was 4 times their potluck, and every meal was about 4 times the size of what I prepare. So really, really impressive.
What were they celebrating?
They were celebrating their, I guess, the renewal of vows. Bill is yelling at the radio right now. I just showed up after the fact. So I just showed up to drive one of their cars. So I think it was a renewal of vows. A lot of it was a surprise to Vicky. She did not know I was coming. She did not know most of the people that showed up were coming. So that was really fun. I brought Chrissy's mom's cookies. So that was great. So basically all the people that were standing around, they're like, oh, you know this guy. And I was like, I don't. And they're like, oh. And then they said, oh, this is Chrissy. Chrissy's mom makes the cookies. And they're like, oh, hey. And so I'm like, hi, I don't know who you are. So I got to drive the ND Miata, and it was great. I had a great time with it. The problem is that, first of all, not my car. Second of all, it drove there, so I have to make sure it drives home. So normally on an HPD, you get, everybody kind of warms up on Saturday and they figure out what the car is, and they're doing really well by the end of the day, and then you still have a whole other day. I only got there on Sunday, so I have to figure out how to race this car fast enough, or drive this car fast enough around the track so I'm not holding people up, because NASA Northeast is notorious for insisting on everybody not giving point buys fast enough. So I know this is coming, so I have to just try to hurry up as fast as possible. Very fortunately, another racer that Bill and Vicky are friends with, Gary, was racing the Sunday Cup Honda Fit. And so we basically put ourselves at the very end of the paddock of the the grid, and made it so that we were, as I would call it, from what we had at one lap, as you call it, all remaining cars. So basically the very last people, you guys get to go out last. Unfortunately, because we were at Lightning, by the time the fast cars got around, they were already coming around to by the time we got out on track. So there was that. I didn't get called out immediately, which was great. So first time out, kind of getting warmed up, figuring out where everything was, and pushing a little bit harder. Second, so I came in after the first stint, and Bill had said the car may be set up for an everyday use. So he said I can make changements, changing. I can change the suspension setup. So we can stiffen it up. So after the first time out, I said, let's do that, because it felt very wallowy. So we did that. And Vicky helped me make it a little bit stiffer, which was great. And it was also out of gas. So I think I had some fuel starve as well. So the first time out, I was like, okay, all these other issues, let's fix them. So we fixed the suspension. So I go out for the second one. And of course there was delay getting out, and then there was a delay, and then we were flagged in early. But I got out there, and I see my hood kind of going like this, and I was like, I think
it's an audio show. What is the hood doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. The hood is bouncing up a little bit more, and it was vibrating a little bit more than I believe it was the first time that I went out. So I go down the straight again, and it's doing that, if not a little bit more. And I was like, I really should pit. And I said, my hood is probably not down. So I go in and I pull right into pit out, and first guy I see is a track worker who is not anything to do with NASA, just basically the guy just to pull people out of if you're on fire. And I say, can you stand on my hood? And he was like, what? And I said, just push down. And he goes, clunk. And it definitely was not hooked. It was not, it was, probably emergency latch, and that's about it. So thankfully I did not lose my hood, and it did not hit my windshield, and it's not my car. So there's that. By the time I was ready to go back out, they had black flagged everything anyway and brought everybody back in. So I didn't miss much, but I didn't make a whole lot of strides, I don't think. Then we had lunch, which was a lovely spread. There's probably 5 or 6 different like main courses, as I would make them, as an option for a lunch. And then I went back out for a third session, and it was great. It was awesome. I was racing with Miatas. I was having a great time. It was really, really good. I got out and was feeling comfortable, and kind of started slipping a little bit, and it was good. I had a good time. So I still had plenty of point buys because I was messing with, brand new Corvettes and a couple Porsches, and it's HPD3, so you end up with people that think they are hotshots, and everybody's trying to win HPDE on a Sunday. So I was like, you know what, my point buy arm was fairly strong, so but that's okay. I had a good time. So and then the last session of the day is always one of those that gets squished. I think it was at like 4:45, so I got off track at about 2:00, and 4:45 was the last one, and I was like, screw it, I'm not going to stand around here, because you never know what the last session is going to look like after all of the delays all day. They need to be done by 5:00, especially since the sun is going down these days at about 4:45, 5:00. So I was like, it's not worth it for me to stay around. Then I might have five or six laps or so. So I bounced out of there, and then drove home and spent time with my mom and watched the Eagles game. And then, yes. So thanks for letting me tell my story. I don't even think I told Chris about my track day. And yeah.
Are you, is there a Miata in your future now?
Depends when you ask. I've been asking Chris for a Miata since we got rid of the last one.
I say drive your NSX more that you only took to work like 3 times this year.
Whatever. It's not a Miata.
That
it's
was a
NSX.
great discussion, because we were saying that, Chris was going to come home and see a Miata.
No. So the bigger issue is that Bill had joked about driving a car here because he had a whole lot of cars to get to and from the track from his house a couple hours away. So one idea was to bring the car to me. I would drive the car to the track, drive it home, but instead I drove my car, so there's no way I could drive 2 cars home. And they only have trailer spaces for 2, so they had a lot of shuffling to do. They were going to drive home with 2 cars in the trailer, drive back, pick up 2 more, and drive back, and then maybe drive back again to get the other one. So lots of logistics on there. But I thank them enough, and I thank you because I know Bill's listening. Thank you for bringing cars for everybody, but also for me, because I wouldn't have been able to have such a good time if I didn't have a car prepared and brought to the track for me. So it was awesome. Had a great time.
Full service.
Pretty much. Yes, it was arrived. Yes, we watched the windows. Everything was already torqued. It was already teched. They were like, wait, you teched that car already? And I was like, yesterday. And they said, okay, whatever. So yeah,
Cool.
so no, it was awesome. Had a good time.
5 stars.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
I recommend.
Busy. I needed a weekend for my weekend, but that's all good. I was busy while you guys were busy. I don't think Chris, you want to say what you did, and then don't say anything about the race because I want to hear all about it later.
Aside from the race, I got the Mazda out of the trailer and went through and gave it a once over, and nothing huge surprises. It's right front wheel bearing is just barely starting to go, and a couple other little things I want to tighten up, and Jack gets nice end of the year stuff, be a little more thorough than necessarily between a race, and got to swap all the fluids and stuff. So trying to get the car completely race ready now, so that in the spring we just take it out, flush the brake fluid, flush the antifreeze out, and run it. So but it shouldn't take me too long. It's nothing really significant, just kind of normal. Some things wear out, but we'll fix them now. Also, after I got home on Monday from Houston, it was 65 degrees and sunny here. So it was the opportunity to grout the tile that's down around the front stoop on the walkway.
Looks so good.
Epoxy grout, you got to work fast. And I was not working quite fast enough. So by the end, it was pretty tough. Starting to firm up a little bit. It was pretty tough to get it in there. And I was scraping the bottom of the bucket to do the last few inches of grout, and it just barely is done. So it looks great now, though.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
It looks finished.
Mhm.
So I did know about the Bill and Vicky thing. Bill, I still failed to get you that video, but I do want to say one of the favorite things that we all say consistently about this hobby is the absolutely wonderful people it brings into your lives. And at the top of that list are you and your lovely bride. You are just wonderful people. You're a wonderful host. And it's not just us who say that. It is everyone you come into contact with. We now have gotten to the point where we get mileage off of being your friend. Oh, you know Bill Fisher. Well, then everything's fine and good. So happy renewal of your vows. I hope it was a great surprise. I am disappointed that I could not make it out there. I hope it was every bit as wonderful. And I do still routinely steal your quote about outkicking your coverage because, yeah, you married way up, but you're a great person and you deserve to marry way up. So happy renewal to both of you guys on that one. I did the same thing Chris did. I got in late Sunday night and Monday morning got up and went to work. So
You are a crazy person. Good for you.
well,
I'm
I'm
very impressed.
I'm mental high. Yeah, but just,
I
yeah, it's
know.
what we do. We're gearing up for another exercise and everything's kind of stacked up on each other with all the conferences and everything. So we are prepping for a quasi conference here in a couple days and then another one in December. And I'm just tired. So
It sounds like it. When do you get a break? I mean,
We've all had
I
a
guess
busy
you're
couple weeks.
we have. Don't regret. No regrets. Yeah, it was better this Monday than last Monday when I landed and went to work.
Yeah.
Yes, that's crazy.
So that's what we're working. That's what we're all working on. Again, happy renewal to the Fishers. If you have not met the Fishers. So you're talking about, like he says, all these people and everyone probably knew you because Chris, you said we'll talk about it, but you said you had all kinds of people recognizing you're in Houston and you're like, why do you all know me? I've never been here.
Yeah. And a lot of people saying, oh, Chrissy's not here. I said, yeah, sorry.
Oh, you get the sad side of this game.
Where's the Chris?
Yep.
Where's the Chris we like? Dang it.
Right?
You got the Abbott.
Several people commented that they're spoiled by the potlucks we have in the Northeast as a
Yeah?
result, accordingly too, right?
Oh, don't tell me. I want to hear all about it. Okay. Tell me later. Are you ready to go?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you doing something? But no. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Close
Okay,
enough.
great. The Grand Touring Endurance or GTE class in endurance racing is over. The final race at Bahrain is the last anyone will see from the unique classing of professional amateur drivers. Next year at IMSA, Le Mans, and other series will have a new professional GT3 series dominant win in the Bahrain season finale on Saturday. Rashid Thurkal at motorsports.com gives us this news. The final race was won by the all-female Iron Dames. Their maiden victory and a few second place finishes. Sarah Beauvois, Michelle Gadding, and Rachel Frey stood atop the podium at Bahrain in the 85 Porsche 911 RSR 19. They are the first all-female crew to score a victory in any class of the WEC since its 2012 inception. They took the lead from their team's other car after 6 hours and held the top spot for the remaining 18 hours. That is awesome. They wear pink suits. But if they beat everybody, I guess they can let people know that they are all women. And that's great.
Especially in Bahrain, a little bit of a jab there.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Women can do things. That's weird.
Meanwhile, one country over, they can't even drive. Now, more on this in a moment. But this weekend, I was racing a 2000 Ford Ranger at MSR. 23 years ago, the 2.5 liter four-cylinder made 119 horses in that truck. I tell you that for scale because Peter Holdreth at the drive has news about the new Ducati single cylinder. At a mere 659 cc's or 0.65 liter, the Super Quadro makes 85 horsepower with a race exhaust. That is 10 more than my Porsche 914. It revs to 10,250 RPMs, which might actually make it the highest revving single cylinder currently in the world. You only have to change the oil every 9,000 miles, and valve checks are at 18,000 miles because of the key aspect, the desmotromic valve system. It gets a cam lobe to open the valve and a cam lobe to close the valve, which is a bit, it addresses the valve float problem of anything that revs that high without the need for these high pressure springs, which shorten the lifespan. So now no overall weight figures were released, but it is going to be fun for both me and a lot of people listening to this to figure out how they're going to get one of those engines and drop it in a Geo Metro. Link to that is in our show notes.
Even better, 2 engines in a Geo Metro.
One per wheel. There we go.
Sounds like a great idea. All right. True Honda fans and gearheads and fans of all things rad recall the Honda Motocompacto, a gas-powered 90-pound foldable gas scooter that was an accessory for the Japan-only 80s era Honda City turbo car. But recently, you've seen reviews from Hooniverse, Out Motorsports, and the other major media outlets gushing about the newest transportation solution from Honda, the all-electric briefcase-size 41-pound Motocompacto. It's capable of 15 miles an hour for 12 miles and retails direct from Honda for a mere $9.95. But all is not well. Thomas Hyundai, no, it's not Hyundai, not Honda, Hyundai at the Autopian tells of their own Mercedes Streeter had her order canceled, while others are relaying stories of canceled orders on Motocompacto Facebook groups, with prospective buyers scrambling to find dealerships willing to take their money. According to sources in the article, the pre-orders will be shipped on a rolling basis, and other dealers are charging up to 100% markups. So, way to go, scuzzy dealers. We're running a fun thing again. Yay.
What?
Yeah.
I'm surprised we hadn't talked about this on this show. I feel like we might have. Because Chris and I have talked about it because we were going to buy one, or we talked about the fun it would be to buy one. I don't know.
That's funny you guys said that. After reading that article and poking around a little bit, I placed an order today with my local Honda dealer. Well, I went to the website and placed an order. It has not been canceled as of this afternoon, but we will find out. And for those who may be wondering what we're talking about, we're going to bring up a picture real quick as soon as
how do you not know?
The Out Motorsports article you linked to, which, I always like Jake's reviews, is ride a Honda Motocompacto and you too can be queen of the paddock. So.
He gushes over how great it is.
Yeah.
I just I kept waiting for a but, and it was just and this and this, and this is how you sit, and this is where the wheels do. That was great.
Mm-hmm. There was riding a little briefcase.
Yeah, it's a similar article. Jeff Glucker, who is 6'4", rode one at a press launch, and he said
she looks so happy. I feel like I would be this happy.
I'm hoping I'm going to be that happy. I'm down with this thing. I figure you make a case for it. You take out the lithium battery, and you just don't mention that it's in your checked luggage, and you take this thing to the races. It's 41 pounds. That's less.
I wonder if you could do it as a carry-on, and then you could ride it through the airport.
Which is what it says actually in the article. That's what it says you should do.
Yes. So
yes,
absolutely. So more on that story as it develops, because you might see us on a Motocompacto, or you might hear me lamenting how the dealer screwed me.
You might as well get in line.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Zachary.
You know what else is a fun place to look for stuff for sale?
Yes.
RacingJunk.com.
Okay, what'd you find?
And sure, that Racing Junk has lots of race cars and parts and trucks and trailers, but they've got lots of obscure stuff too. I found a 1960 AMC Rambler Ambassador cross country. This is a wagon with tail fins. It is amazing, and it is for sale on RacingJunk.com. It's
in great condition.
It is. It's lightly customized but not ruined, which is what happens to so many custom cars. They get ruined. No, this one doesn't. It looks clean. The body looks great. I think it just needs some different wheels and a better steering wheel, and it is done. This is a 2000 Detroit Autorama Award winner. It's had 3 owners, and look at that dash. Look at that oval.
Yeah, that is jet age glory.
and those big chrome switches and all that stuff. It looks great. It's had 3 owners in its life. It's the original tan color with some added pearl to it. It's got a custom beige and cream interior, which, well, again, while custom, it's not overdone and it matches the car nicely. 92,000 miles. It's got a 327 2-barrel V8, push button automatic, dual exhaust. This thing seems fun, doesn't it?
Oh man, that is epic. That is a great cruiser mobile right there. Just proof positive that you can truly find everything on racingjunk.com.
So many things. And I bet they have a pro membership because they had 25 pictures on there.
They probably did,
great.
but they probably didn't save half off with code pod 23 like you can.
Probably did not. So do it. Okay.
So you should, and do yourself some joy scrolling. Find cool things like that. If you find something cool on racingjunk.com, send it to us.
Totally.
We probably missed it. Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Well, and things come and go on there. So
you can't keep up with all the stuff they've got. Come on.
That is true. That is true. All right. Looks like we have no upcoming races this week, but
nope.
None. Next, 2 weeks though, it looks like almost everything gets wrapped up. I think everyone but Lemons is having their penultimate race. There.
Yep. That's
but
what
you
it
know
looks
what
like
we
on
do
the 17th and 18th.
Yeah.
We have recent results.
We have results.
And we've got the down low on all of these things. I can give you the backstory behind all these cars.
Please, let's hear it.
I had something to do with picking a lot of these. Anyway, winner on laps was Party Girl at a 99 C230. They should have gotten more laps. I wasn't the one that glassed them, but they should have had more. Anyway,
do they have any?
They had some, but not enough. Apparently, they've won like 5 times now, so they need more.
They're a charming team, and they spent 10 years trying to get that car like actually into shape to win there. So I can see how people would make that mistake because they're just so darn nice.
Well, they've bought their way to the front a bit there too with that some of the things in that car. Winner Class B. This is Team FSU in a 2001 Ford Mustang V6. A V6 Mustang came in 3rd overall. So welcome to Class A.
Stop bringing GTs.
Right,
the V8s always do better.
Seriously, look at that. A V6 Mustang beat all of the V8 ones and all the Camaros and all the Firebirds and everything.
Yeah. A good collection of BMWs. In fact, I think it beat all of the BMWs.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
It did. It only lost to Mercedes and a Honda. Winner Class C was Half-Ass Racing in a 2001 New Beetle because it's a New Beetle. Like, where else you can really put that thing? And then they were running Mucho Macho tires all weekend. Like that what they had, and they kept up with it. So
I think that team has 3 of those things, 3 New Beetles, and they're each different flavors. They've got like an automatic regular one, then they got the turbo, then they've got like the regular 5-speed one, but they bring all those the Cooper tires or not Coopers,
Mucho Macho something ridiculous, but they're terrible. But they actually were running them all weekend and did okay.
Cosmo tires, that's who it is. Yeah.
Cosmo, right. Org Choice went to Spin It or Win It, and they have a 91 MR2, but they didn't drive the MR2 a lot this weekend. It was kind of broken. They spent more of their time doing other things like organizing a big barbecue trailer that they fed the paddock in, and a bar and the party, and petitioning me for Judge's Choice all weekend. They had ballots that they had printed out and had people suck up, but the only teams on said ballots were Spin It to Win It, NSF, Winos, which doesn't exist anymore, and 3 Pedal Mafia. So the only team that was there was Spin It to Win It, and they would just give these people, say, here they check off their own names, here, give this to Chris. So I had about 50 people over the course of the weekend give me a ballot for them for Judge's Choice. But
did any of them say 3 Pedal Mafia?
No, none of them.
Oh,
nice? How
now we have a nemesis.
But why wouldn't they try to suck up to you?
They were trying by giving me the ballots. But the point is now that they didn't get Judge's Choice, they got Org Choice, because they're very nice people. They were very friendly and helpful and thoughtful, and did a lot for around the paddock. So they got Org Choice.
Okay.
That
Judge's Choice ended up going to Big Rock Candy Mountain. It's a bone stock '05 Camry on all season Yokohamas, automatic.
No.
It is silent, like it because it's a stock exhaust. Like it just drives around and around to the track.
What
And
was
it's
the
just
theme?
it didn't really particularly
Toyota
have one, but they were
Camry,
just super nice people. Like,
Okay.
and like it's a family thing. It's like his dad and his two kids, and we were talking. They were telling Sajeev that they were all these are basically a part store brake pads, and he's like, "No, you really should think about running better ones." He's like, "No, my kids are running it. I got two, so I can lose one." So they were just very nice. They had a great attitude.
Oh,
I
think
feel
we
like that's
saw them
like the
penalty
theme
box
of
once, and
I
that was
feel like
it.
that's the theme
Yeah.
of anyone running a stock Camry is just, like the same thing with people who drive stock Camrys in life. I've just given up,
No, they were
I'm
very
just-
nice about the whole
I'm
I
just
like the
here.
easy life.
They were our second choice, though. We had to come up with that on the fly because our original choice must be present to win. They weren't. They showed up right after the fact when they heard about it. This is the must be the original one was a team that was fairly new. They had a fairly new Mini Cooper S with this ridiculously complex Juggalo wrap, and they the car seemed a little cheaty. They seemed a little clueless, and their first driver went out and he committed a crime spree. He had 3 penalties in like 20 minutes, and then he sped in the paddock on the way back, on the way into the penalty box after not coming in for black flags. So this was Judge Tom's like special case all day. He made them do all kinds of things when they were parked for long periods of time. Eventually we had to park them for the day because they had too many penalties. And
Did
the
they
next
color?
day, oh no, they made commercials and safety videos, and
I didn't
they
see
got
any
lunch for the
safety videos.
track, and they
Oh,
got they
what?
got lunch for the guys in the tower. They did all kind, specifically like when Mike wanted chocolate chip cookies, they originally got him sugar cookies, and we said no, we said chocolate chip, and they went and found chocolate chip and got that to him, right? So they did
Wow.
everything we wanted to do, and then we didn't see them at all on Sunday. So it was a wonderful redemption
Oh,
story.
good.
So that's
Oh,
why we
good.
originally picked those guys, but hey, weren't there. Sorry, no
Oh,
trophy for you.
I think we may have skipped the heroic fix, or if
Yes,
you
we
were
did.
missing. Okay,
Oh, I
sorry.
wanted to get. I was just because Spinach when it was talking about Judge's choice, I would rolled into that. Heroic Fix with Schadenfreude Racing. They have a 1979 BMW 320i that only the body shell is still that car. It's got a 5-cylinder Mercedes turbo diesel engine from a 80s Mercedes 300D, as a Nissan 6-speed from a 350Z, a Ford rear end from a Thunderbird, all kinds of other random stuff. And they blew that giant. Somehow they managed to blow up a Mercedes diesel. First off, I don't know how, but
They
they did.
first brought that car, it blew up, and I was down there talking to him. This was years ago about how I had one of those and I really loved one of those E24 BM. And they're like, "We're throwing a Mercedes diesel in it," and I chuckled and I said, "If you guys do that, you're totally going to end up in Class C." And they're like, "We're doing it."
Yeah.
They showed up the
absolutely
next
insane.
year and gave me the instrument cluster from that car, which is still in my garage because they had done it.
They blew the Mercedes diesel engine Saturday, like midday. And they had swapped that 700-pound lump of iron out for another one in time to get back on the track and take the checker on Saturday and then race all day Sunday. So they did a really fast motor swap. I mean, I'm sure that motor's been in and out a number of times when you do that kind of thing, but impressive to see them do it that quick on something that weird at the track. Road Mangler Cup was a high-speed low drag and a Focus. Okay.
Those guys are actually all cancer survivors, and they that this was like one of their bonds as they got together and started doing that. That's a good fun crew.
Yeah, they were nice all weekend. I got screwed, went to the Aggie Lemons in their Mustang. These are a bunch of college kids. They showed up with their Mustang, and there's a dyno at the track at MSR, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna dyno this car and check the timing and make all the powers." Guess what they did?
blew it up.
Cracked their transmission case, like literally put a crack in the transmission. So they work all night Friday night and get another transmission in it, and their paddock looked like Sputniks. There was just
no.
it was littered
Detritus
with
everywhere.
everything,
Did something
right? They just
explode?
5-gallon buckets of tools just on the ground, parts on the ground, awful. So then they show up to tech on Saturday, And Dale's teching him, and it's I don't know, he comes over, he's like, hey Chris, come take a look at this with me. And we look, and their fuel tank is just a big bucket of gas. It's like it's a, you know, yeah, it's a just a metal box. It had, you know, I'm sure they bought it off some circle track place, right? It's Texas, right? Yes, it has foam in it, but a fuel cell has to have three things. It has to have an outer protective metal box, and the second is a deformable bladder on the inside, and then it has to have the foam. So they were missing that critical element, and we had to fail them protect. So we were like, well, we're never going to see those guys again. They went and dug up a stock tank for a Mustang and put that back in the car, and then fought with fueling issues all weekend because the stock tank had junk in it because they didn't actually clean it before they put it back. And so they couldn't get it to work right.
We've never done that before. Oh, wait, we did 5 races with that.
And so that was, they made it.
We've been there.
And then when they got out for a couple laps, they didn't have their transponder on, so they had to.
Oh no!
So they ended up having a total of five laps counted. So they were not DFL by 1 lap, and yeah, screwed.
I believe the children are our future.
Yep. The regional award is a slab-based award, of course, Houston and Sajeev. It's the Still Tippin' somehow. It was an E30 convertible, full circle jerk auto. They had, you know, the little shredders that they put on the slabs that stick out way out of the tires.
Yeah, the elbows, man. The wheels, elbows out. Right. Yeah.
They made those out of cardboard and zip ties and left them on the car all
while
weekend.
Driving.
Yes.
How did that work?
Well, at one point it was a black flag. Somebody said to me, "Hey, are they allowed to have tire shredders?" I said, "Go look harder. It's cardboard and zip ties." And right. And the fact that they were all still on the car at the end of the day, Saturday, tells me they're not getting close enough to anyone that has a problem, which is great. That's what you need. They also had in the trunk. They had, you know,
they're real ones.
Right. They had lettering that said like spend that money or save that money or something like that. And they were running snow tires on the front of their car all day Saturday.
In Texas?
Yep.
Okay.
And this guy had the most Texas tow vehicle I've ever seen in my life. It was like a 76 F350.
You have a picture of it on your phone, don't you?
I probably do. I think I may have deleted it because I knew Nick got some for the wrap-up video. It's a 76 F350 that the guy stuck. I don't have it anymore. That guy stuck a 671 blower and dual carburetors and the big scoop all sticking out of the hood
on a
all like
76
chrome.
Ford Highboys. Gorgeous.
Yeah. And the truck is all like patina rusty and it still has 4-wheel drums. And the guy said it's frightening to drive, but that was his tow vehicle for the E30.
Oh, good. It's terrifying. If your tow vehicle is terrifying to drive, that's always great.
Yeah, it was great. But
all right. The big awards.
Big award. HMG went to a team with a 1982 AMC Spirit. It was a family event. It was Dixon Cider Racing, and all day they were offering Dixon Cider.
Weekend.
They had all weekend. They were always wandering around the paddock talking about Dixon Cider, and then in the evening they had hard Dixon Cider, and you know they had they had little Dixon Cider, and they had signs all over the place and at the urinals and everything. They were walking around with a megaphone, and the kids involved. Everyone was enjoying their Dixon Cider. So,
yeah. Oh, your car's broken. You need some Dixon Cider. Oh, your car's running. You need some Dixon Cider.
Yep. Oh, it's morning time. How about some Dixon Cider? But no one really else did anything, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that they leaned in hard to that theme, even though it was like, oh, okay, dick jokes, huh? They leaned in hard and did it all weekend, and no one really did anything. So good for them. Okay. They were nice, very nice people too. They're the ones who gave the excellent bribe of the Chrissy's favorite potluck. They had a half-eaten pizza, a tub of potato salad, a half a pack of Oreos, and a bag of sticky change, which actually was the steak quarters that Chrissy likes. So I've got those.
Real change.
That is actually a picture of that is on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Terrible potluck, greatest bribe at low ball.
That's awesome.
Those guys were fantastic.
That was excellent.
Very good.
And the IOE went to a car that, IOE is about the car that obviously does the most that you least expect it. And back in these early 90s, the Japanese luxury wars were starting. I mean, Acura started it, and Infiniti and Lexus, and eventually, little known fact, Mazda was going to have their own brand called Amati. And they eventually said, I guess we're not going to do that. But they had some product that was going to be for Amati, like the Millennia was supposed to be an Amati. And then the larger version, the 929. And this team brought one of those luxury large Mazdas with a bespoke 24 valve V6. It was a 92 929, still had the analog clock on the dash. And this thing was 20th overall. So when you put your weird, obscure Japanese luxury car into the top 20% at a Lemons Field, you're going to get an IOE. Well done. That was a Simp Motorsports. And they on Friday night, they were thrashing on, they had the entire rear suspension of the car apart, fixing a bearing or something. And half the day Sunday, the left rear wheel had positive camber and a lot of toe, and they still drove it around all day, and it still just kept going all day.
Wow.
So good for them.
I didn't even know what that is. I had to let me Google that for you. I had to Google it.
Yep.
I have not. It looks like a
a
little Grand Marquis. It's like
they were lovely cars when they first
came
came
out. They
out.
were great.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just no
They
one
were
bought
great
them.
cars and like good looking, drove great. Yeah. People bought ES300 instead.
Pretty much.
Interesting. Huh. Who knew?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for the
I do want to get your take, because I've been to I've been going to the Houston race for a couple of years. It's not that hard for me, but it was a great voyage for you. What did you think of the selection of vehicles that were running the in the Gulf region?
Fine. That's kind of how I feel about the entire Houston thing. There were a great many very friendly, nice, wonderful people, but the jerk quotient was higher than I was expecting. There's a lot of people there with a chip on their shoulder who think that Texas is the greatest place in the world and that they are a very tough man and are the only one who can tell you how to do things right. And a lot of stuff like, I don't like to complain, but 5 minutes of complaining and telling you how things are supposed to be. And a lot of people with just like no personality and a bad attitude and just tough guys, a lot of tough guys. Yeah.
That's a shame, because there's a lot of just really good people down there.
Well, that's why I preface it with a lot of very, very nice, friendly, pleasant, wonderful people. But I was just surprised that the jerk quotient was as high as it was. Yeah.
Very interesting.
All right.
Because in the penalty box, you see all kinds.
Yeah.
You get them all.
I'm surprised that you shouldn't have gotten too many jerks, because they should have missed you.
I'm a non-confrontational kind of judge, really, calm and authoritative, and just let's solve this problem. Let's get better, and let's not see you again. That's really what I care about. Some people just, anyway.
Yeah.
I appreciated all the nice people I met. There were a lot of very, very nice people, and they were very friendly, and I enjoyed that. That was great.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you for that. All the anecdotal stories behind all of these people, because usually we just read them all off and don't know and unless Mental's there or somebody's there,
or you're there.
When you're helping to pick them, it makes it easier to know what really happened.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Listen up for
over on the YouTubes from our scary episode last week. Our buddy T Stank, quote, "The stripped bolt thing hits home. When I first replaced the MX3's clutch, I was tightening the bell housing bolts and the torque spec wasn't super high, but they seemed to be taking a lot more work to get up to torque. I was starting to get the heebie-jeebies when the first bolt went crack." Now, don't worry, folks, it all worked out, but he did back off that spec a lot when he was replacing that clutch at Road America. And he would also caution everyone, quote, "As for getting hammered for bad themes, my left front fender can attest to that. Eric did not approve of my no time to theme of turquoise car with 3 stickers. Learn from my mistake. Don't bring weak themes. Seriously, go to a Buc-ee's, go to a Party Galaxy, get something stupid, and all you have to do is take a stupid theme and lean into it."
Somebody definitely went to Buc-ee's for their bribes. We had a Buc-ee's shirt, hat, and beaver nuggets and stickers. And it's like, all right, well, apparently you thought of your theme when you stopped for gas on your way in, but good for you for trying.
But you thought of your theme.
Exactly. Yep. James Ed said what was frightening for me was, and I'll say this is last year, when his teammates started their race car in gear, and I'll say, my teammate started our race car in gear and it drove into your toolbox, knocking it over. Luckily, it stalled and didn't wreak any more havoc. Yeah. And I will say, James and his teammate made sure to get me some new socket racks for the ones that broke when the entire toolbox fell over when the Volvo hit it. So, yep. I'm also glad it didn't keep going because there's the car on the other side and all kinds of other stuff. It just knocked it over. No big deal.
All right. And Chris E said at end of the episode, additional comment, you joke, but I do actually have a consulting business and I do more than automation. Biggest side gig is doing CFD analysis and designing discs for a small disc golf company. I just like solving fun problems and helping good people.
And that goes to our thing about how just this is what Lemons is. It's people who make problems to solve them.
Yeah. That's like the most Chris Egan thing ever right there. Yep.
Brilliant engineer working for a startup Frisbee golf company.
Yeah.
And of course, Michael K said, quote, wait, put a stupid engine in an otherwise competitive car and you can win IOE. Haha, never tried that.
And on the pick of the Ford effing Ranger, we got Glenn F saying more trucks, Lemons need more trucks. And Matt F asking, is it a Ford effing Ranger or an effing Ford Ranger?
So I actually went to go be very sarcastic about this and play the song on the video, which I'm going to do right now, just to make sure that we get the E on this episode. But what I have discovered is, oh, come on, stop doing that. What I've discovered is if people are talking about it, if they say the words, it actually is effing Ford Ranger. But if you're singing the song, it's Ford effing Ranger. So here is.
Know this truck, I ain't no stranger. I know that truck, that's a Ford fucking Ranger. My miles per gallon ain't in no danger.
So it's an interesting kind of situation. But if you see the videos where people just walk around going, "Ooh, Ford Ranger," but if you're singing, it's Ford effing Ranger.
It's important to have that clarity. Thank you, Mental.
I'm going to edit in the now you know into this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Do, 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 do. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my turn, isn't it? Haha. On the gram, David E sent us a message. Wayne Carini in the latest Haggerty magazine writes in his column, I'm currently looking for an exotic Citroen SM, which mates sophisticated hydraulics and stunning Citroen style with a V6 from the Maserati Merak. You guys should have waited a little longer on selling yours. No, thank you.
No. It needed to go away, and it did, and that's fine.
Nope. And none of the sophisticated and styling and blah 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 was our Citroen. So, yep, not missing much.
This was not the droid Wayne Carini was looking for. It was ours. That's for sure.
I would have paid to see that episode though, where he shows up and the marital aid is on the shifter.
Yep.
And it's a little rusty and has a roll cage or half of one. Okay.
And then he drops it off to that grumpy mechanic of his. So yeah.
It's time.
It's the Motors. What did we find? It used to be Mercedes Sugarland. Now it's something else, but was it Motorsports Ranch? I think
it was boring. No, it was.
Yeah, it's boring. It's Motor
Mercedes.
Speedway Resort.
That's what it is.
But they still do have Mercedes of Sugarland stuff all over the place. And so, yes, it apparently was Mercedes of Sugarland Raceway was the original thing. And now Motor Speedway Resort. Yeah. And calling this place a resort is generous in so many ways.
I don't know. You're in Angleton, Texas. It's pretty nice comparatively.
Okay. Yeah.
Where'd they have you staying?
Alvin. whatever,
Okay.
Holiday Inn Express up in Alabama, like
All right.
25 minutes away. It was
We,
fine.
we've all stayed at the Comfort Inn there in Angleton, right next to the Walmart and the Chili's, because there's no Applebee's there.
Well, apparently
that's-
Kim upgraded us this time, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She learned her lesson.
Yeah. So I guess thoughts on the track in general from someone who was there for the first time, and I didn't drive it, but I rode around it on a bicycle.
2 laps
And-
because I wussed out after the first lap.
You did. It's mediocre is kind of what I think.
Really?
This track
Okay.
is. In general, the facility is like they just have some buildings around that appear to be there with no rhyme or reason whatsoever, and kind of
Like
haphazard
what?
placement. Like they have a lot of garages for it's a country club track, but like so people can buy or rent garages on site, but they're like at weird angles and all over the place. Like it's basically they had a building and then so we need another building. Where do you want it? And they look around and went, how about they there? And there are all kinds of there's no flow to the paddock at all.
No, it's always very
a lot of
crowded.
dangerous corners actually. They do have some nice canopies for rent. That's what we were there for judging. That was good.
Saw that. That looks good.
The buildings are in fair to poor condition. The stairs going up to the deck, the roof deck to go to the tower, were the kind of thing that we have. Okay, working in insurance, general liability, we have a thing in our claim university that is we've made a set of stairs very poorly on purpose to like have people understand like what is a bad set of stairs, how do you measure it, what do you see it. This was that staircase. They were
Really
uneven rise stairs and treads falling off, and like seriously, I look at it. I went, "This is a nightmare." Like I just twitched
they're
anytime I
kind of
was needed.
splitting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
creaks a lot.
Oh yeah, that's just one example of that. Just that the pavement on the track is like old CMP, like cheese grater, in poor condition. There were tires along the track in front of a corner station that the weeds growing out of them had become trees that were actually obscuring the flag stations, so people couldn't see the yellows, and they just are not cutting these things. Like the guy at the gate was super slow all the time. I am thoroughly unimpressed with this track, I have to say, in every way. Honest opinion.
I think I'm just used to it, but you're not saying anything wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't get it.
You got there Thursday night. You flew in.
We flew in Thursday day. I grabbed a rental car and Sagi and Dale, and we went to the hotel, checked in, then went to the track and helped Rich set up. But because Rich was the one setting up, most of it was already done when we got there, so there wasn't a whole lot for us to do because Rich is really on his game. But we made sure things were generally in the right place. Pretty simple. Yep.
Okay. I flew in
So
Friday
travel
morning.
was
Got
easy.
picked up by teammates Owen and Stu and his son Owen. They were driving down from Dallas, and they graciously drove me from the airport. And I got the track about 1 on Friday, and you guys were already fairly involved in tech at that point. Tech and
Yeah.
BS.
Yeah, we got there, mid morning, and most things were set up, and we were not doing the testing day, so we were kind of waiting around a little bit, and then started our judging. Went through, had met a lot of nice teams, had a lot of good bribes, had some arguments, and yeah, typical judging day. It went. We never got too far behind, which is nice because we had 3 judges, so we could, and we all were pretty comfortable in doing things there. So, we had a bit of a line for a bit, but Dale and Mike were doing a good job with keeping the tech lines moving, and I think
this is Mike Gritter for anyone that's ever
Nope.
raced at Autobahn. So he's got it together.
Yep, he was the kind of race manager this weekend and helping with tech. He did a great job. He was all on the ball. And everyone actually in this who was there for staff was totally on the ball and doing their jobs, doing it well, and pivoting when they needed to. And everything went smoothly despite everything that got thrown at us. Nothing really was a problem. It was great.
I had a completely different situation. I arrived on Friday to a completely non-functional effing Ford Ranger. Vince had been working on it. This car had been bought with a disassembled engine out of someone's backyard, and it had been prepped, but they didn't have a key to it. and the anti-theft system was giving us fits. And then all the grounds were bad. He found about 8 bad grounds in there. Now, one of the things about MSR Houston is there is a race shop on site. I forget what those guys are called. Apex or something, but they were over helping us out. They helped out about 6 other teams. So while it's a iffy paddock, it's a really good race shop. And they ended up like coming and hanging out on Saturday and Sunday, just out of the goodness of their heart, because they were trying to help teams out.
And that guy was even there on Sunday. And he helped a lot of teams like survive, like make it through tech and get going. And so that was really nice of him. Dale called him out in the judges meeting specifically for the fact, not judges meeting, the award ceremony, for how many people he helped fix over the course of the weekend.
Yeah. So if you're in that area and you need race prep, that's go check those guys out. But we did not make, we got the Miata through Tech and BS, but we did not get the Ranger through Tech and BS. And so we were there until late, until finally it was time to leave and go grab dinner. And I was racing with Jerry Ringel and the Glorious Bastards. And I just want to tell this one story. So we're in Texas Roadhouse because we're in Texas, and it should have just been called Roadhouse. Right.
Roadhouse.
Seriously? It's a tradition. It's a
I
tradition.
hassled him
Friday
about it
night,
too.
we go get a steak. That's what Jerry and that crew always does. Friday night is steak night. And so, and it was close to our hotel, so we could drink a lot of margaritas and not have to worry about driving. But we're there and we're having dinner. We're catching up, and across from us on the other row of booths is this 3-year-old. He's there with his parents, and they've gotten him a little cup of ice cream, and he is just smeared it on his face as much as he is eating it. He is standing in the booth and just looking around at everybody, and he is living his absolute best existence. And the 6 of us were just so taken aback by how much fun that kid was having that Jerry and Blake bought him another ice cream and had the waitress send it over there to him. And he just starts cramming, because he's got one ice cream and he's just so happy. You know what's going to make that situation better? Another ice cream.
I don't know if mom thinks that, but okay.
I think mom was a little taken aback of the server comes over and says, "Here's another ice cream," because they think he's so much fun. And she's like, "Who are these weirdos?" And then she sees and she's like, "Okay, no, they're actually just a bunch of nice people." And she said, "Thank you." And that kid was just smearing ice cream everywhere. It was absolutely hilarious, and kind of embodies why I hang out with those guys, because they were just reveling in the joy of a toddler eating ice cream. Everyone should do that every now and again. Just attack life with the joy of a toddler with an ice cream.
Okay.
Saturday morning, bright and early, before the judges, before the staff, we arrive at the track to work on the effing Ford Ranger. Miata makes the green flag. The Ranger does not. Now, there are pictures on our Instagram. The concept behind this was born out of a drinking session at NOLA earlier this year. This was a shameless ploy to kiss up to Sajeev, because he's a Ford guy. So we were building this Ranger, and it was the Sajeev IOE edition effing Ford Ranger. And we were very disappointed we couldn't get it done, but we finally got it good enough to go through Tech and BS, rolled it through there.
At what hour?
Noon.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Noon on Saturday. We put on our brown suits. We put on our Indian headdresses. We rolled it through, and we weren't the only team that was catering to Sajeev. There was also the team of Sajeevs. It was a group of students, all had different faces of Sajeev on that one.
Yeah. Sajeev, when he saw that, he's like, "Oh man. Okay. That's nice."
They came walking up. "We are Sajeev. We are Sajeev." So we managed to get it through Tech, past BS. It is still not good enough to actually take the track until we got it running about 4:10. Got it onto the track at 4:30, where it did actually circulate for 5 laps and take the checker.
Wow. That's a lot. It's not a lot. It's a lot that you had to do to get it there. That's very sad.
You remember there was a time when we used to do this, though.
No, don't remember.
I know, it's just
Nope.
blocked out of a memory. It's too painful.
We always brought cars the best we knowingly could to the track.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the Citroen, the one we struggled with the most, we did the best we could, and we just couldn't figure out. We didn't know what was wrong until we were there.
And that's where we are with the Ranger. There's a lot
Yeah.
we just don't know what is wrong on that one. But that was our Saturday. Chris, how was your Saturday?
It was fine. It kind of went in waves. But we had a couple frequent flyers. We had to park 3 or 4 teams, like completely, like you see you tomorrow, but that level of parking. Had a couple.
You say 5 flags?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, they got after their first long park. First one talk, second one talk, third one do something that's going to take some time or park for a while. Fourth one, things like park for a while and do something that's going to take some time. And then the fifth one, it's like, well, you're just not learning. So you're done. Thank you. See you later. Yeah. So that was something. We had a lot more passenger yellows than I've usually seen at a track. I think it had something to do with the flagging crew and with the trees in front of the flag station. But even if someone gets mistakenly called for passenger yellow, they've probably gotten away with something else at some point. So, okay, just suck it up and deal with it. Move along. Let's see. It was a fine day, realistically. Nothing.
I was in the
exciting to
Miata,
report
and
in
I was
penalty.
scared. I was scared to get a black flag because I knew you'd make me eat mayonnaise, and it was hot.
I wouldn't make you eat mayonnaise again. We'd find something else. A whole bag of beaver nuggets or something, whatever.
I do that. Perfect. Yeah.
Right. They are addictive, but then you feel bad afterwards.
You do. You can feel your teeth starting to rot. They've got like their own sugar coating on them. They're,
what's a beaver nugget?
It's Bucky's beaver nuggets. And they're
I
always,
I was thinking it was a
race,
chicken
always
nugget.
like
It's
9 bags of these things everywhere.
What are they?
They're like cheesy poofs, but with sugar on them instead of cheese is the best way I can describe them mentally.
Okay.
No, that's actually, like giant, sugar pop cereal things,
Okay.
Yeah. They taste a little like honeycomb, but
okay.
I mean, they are shiny with the sugar.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Got it.
Yeah. And you don't want to eat them. And you just keep compulsively
you just keep doing until you just put them away. But it was great working with the staff. I mean, Tom, it was his first race, but he picked it right up as I think everyone thought he would. And he had the confidence to do what was needed, but be nice.
It was his first race judging. He's been at many races.
Yes, he has raced many times and
so it's not
themed hard many times. He gets it. And Sajeev, this is Sajiv's place. I mean, he's been judging this race since 2009. So like it's he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows
those are his people
in the paddock. This is his people, right? But we all we're made sure we always had coverage. Rich did a great job as event manager. There was everything was always smooth. We always knew what we were doing. Our pit lane crew was great. It was Dale and Sagi and Joe. They did a great job there. Oh, and Chris P was back. He's learning to do tech now, so he's gonna actually be able to do tech. Dale was actually teaching him tech stuff this weekend.
Oh, so good.
Excellent. So we have another tech person.
Right.
But everyone really did a nice, smooth job all weekend on staff. It was great.
That's awesome.
Saturday night was the Spin It to Win It put on a party. They brought in paid for someone to bring this giant barbecue trailer.
Like no kidding, car sized, like flatbed with a smoker and a serving bar. And this was legit.
They made ribs and brisket, and other people brought some stuff, but I think there wasn't as much of a potluck as it was them putting on a dinner.
That was Saturday night, right?
Yep. And Maximum Bob's law firm sponsored the bar. He was bartending. I've never seen him move so fast in my life as when he was trying to make drinks for people from the bar. That was good. It was a good evening there. Everyone hung out for a long time, in which we went back to the hotel. Dale made some friends with some locals in the hotel lobby. That was always good.
That's what Dale does.
That's what Dale does. Well, the previous night we'd sat out by the pool until they kicked us out, which was like well after an hour after the time they closed. Just hanging out, enjoying some bribe bounty. And
did you?
Quality of the bribes? How were the bribes?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Yep.
Solid bribes. We had more varieties of bourbon and scotch than we knew what to do with. Sagi ended up Sagi brought 40 pounds of bacon with him to cook for the race,
Really?
and he brought home 40 pounds of whiskey in the same bag.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is there any liquids in your bag? No. It's very fragile.
No, he checked that one because he said apparently he can't carry on the bacon bag, so he had to check it. So he brought all of the whiskeys home with him that people
That's
who were
awesome.
local couldn't take, right? Because a lot of us didn't have a checked bag. No, we had lots of good stuff that people gave us. I got a gold Icon 1/4-inch drive ratchet. So that's fun.
Now we all have them.
Well, this is the 1/4-inch drive. That's not the 3/8.
Oh, I didn't know they had a quarter. Now I gotta go
which
get
is great.
one.
I was able to bring it on the plane because it was small enough of a tool.
Or say if you're coming to Sonoma and you're looking for a good, Corey will probably beat me up and take it. But yeah.
So lots of good bribes that were thoughtful, and plenty that were like, what is this? Okay, thanks. I think that's par for the course. I mean, we gave them a statue last time. So,
well, yes. And then I made the case of, this is found in a family member. This is an heirloom. Nope. Don't actually know what this is. There you go.
We did several good Bob Ross penalties through the day that were good. We strapped, did a lot of the classics. Strapped somebody to the saran wrapped him to the car, and we did the coloring book a number of times. The Dick coloring books, those are always good. Things like that. It was good.
Yep. So our Saturday night, we missed the potluck because we were wrenching on the damn Ranger.
Oh, that's a shame.
we were social. People came by, said hi, and we talked to everyone until we finally got to the point where we knew we wouldn't be able to get dinner. So we pieced out of there and found a lovely Mexican place, and got in there just before it was obnoxious, to walk in. So we were about an hour and 5 minutes before they closed, but rolling with that crew, 10 minutes into it, because Blake is a restaurant owner, so he knows how to be nice to staff, and they were all really happy we were there. And then we, again, close to the hotel. So stumbling distance after many, many well-made margaritas. And Sunday we were back at the track bright and early, still trying to fix this stupid Ranger.
Yep. And we were, and I will say Saturday during the day too, we did have a red flag for a rollover and a black flag all. And that driver was fine. No problem. He was okay. Car held up surprisingly well. And Sunday for getting into Sunday on that same topic, we had 2 black flag alls. Sunday, we almost had 3. We had 2. One was for a fire in the track on the infield from a car going off track into the grass.
Okay. And I want to say, because I got blamed because every time I'd been down at that race, there was like fire. And then the one year I didn't judge it, no fires. Not judging this year, fires. Not me. It's totally not me. Yes. I'm not the black.
So maybe it's just fires there.
Yeah. Well, it's dry Texas, but and the grass seemed a little less dry this time, but still, but people that had gone off track, they'd come in with basically a hay bale hanging under their car and in their wheel wells and everywhere. Like it's the best when you can see bits of grass and dirt all over the driver as they come
in the window. Yeah, that's great.
It's like, well, we know why you're here. Thanks.
I don't know why I'm here. What?
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, do you remember that spin you had like 20 minutes ago? Oh yeah. Okay.
I dropped like a half a wheel, man. This is another, yeah, right. Yeah. The Sharknado Supra, I believe, burned up, but the staff got on that one. It did not actually burn to the ground. I was on track when that one happened.
No, I only saw the passenger side that rolled by on the wrecker, and it looked fine on the passenger side. I didn't see the driver's side, but it wasn't too bad.
One of the times I drove by there, they literally they popped the hood because that's where the smoke was rolling out from underneath it, and the track staff, they were sticking the extinguishers just under the popped hood and squeezing them until the smoke stopped. Before they popped the hood and gave it more oxygen. It was actually a really smart approach.
And I will say that the black flag all, for those who don't understand how it works, they have to pull everyone off track, and to avoid having to dick check everybody again, they keep everybody in the car on the hot pits, and anybody that goes into the paddock has to get dick checked again. So they're the last ones to go out. So, and there's no fueling during this. There's no, you got to go off the track. People say, well, I just want to go to fuel. It's like, well, yeah, you and everyone else that's already there, and they can't touch their cars. So you sit in this line or go into the paddock. And then people were giving me hassles when I have to detect them on the way back out of the paddock. Like, I didn't get out of the car. It's like, well, I don't know that. I'm not paying attention to you. This is one of that was one of the one people in the jerk quotient that was the one that said that, who was a problem all day. Yeah. Chip on his
which means
shoulder,
he probably got out of the car.
Yeah, who knows? Well, eventually we ended up that team, when they got their third flag, Tom wanted to just do, it was an hour left in the day. He's like, he wanted to surround and wrap them to the roof so they can go apologize. So, yeah, it would take 10 minutes. I'll get back on track. He's like, nah, we're just done.
Wow.
And I said, that's better. Everyone else on track will have a better day for it.
Good one.
Oh, well. But that's why those kind of things happen. So if you're ever in a black flag all and wondering about that kind of stuff, that's the point. It actually makes it much easier to get everyone back on track and be safe about it.
Logistical nightmare for you guys.
Totally.
I know when we talk about it before in the Friday night powwow, we figure out what happens, what you're going to deal with it, and how you're going to, what you're going to do. It's usually not great. So you need to plan.
Yeah. But I think just, having seen it from both sides now, it was insightful to me to understand, and now I understand it. It all makes sense, and I understand why they do it the way they do. And so hopefully other people do now too, and they won't get mad at it, and they'll just comply with what's going on.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Yep.
Sunday morning, the Ranger did actually take the green flag.
Wow.
It drove for 2 hours and then died, had to get pulled in. We still think it's electrical. We thought maybe the coils were bad because we were getting a high load kind of cut out. So we bummed a set of coils from the Breaking Bad team, and they had swapped it out because they had broken one of the solder joints, and the guy actually soldered it back for us before he gave it to us, which was really nice. Thanks for the hookup. And turns out not the problem. Made it 4 turns in before I had to get hauled in again. And after the third time we got hauled in on the Ranger, we decided the Ranger was done. The Miata, on the other hand, was actually flawless, and we managed to get a 2 flat out of it.
fantastic.
But
Sunday
again,
in the penalty box was
not my fault.
quieter than Saturday. We definitely had some teams that learned from their mistakes. That we actually we only parked one team on Sunday. It was a different team than the other days, and it's a couple of teams that we parked we barely saw the next day. So we're very happy about that. So we appreciated the improvement in the quality of the driving on Sunday. We did a lot of walking around the paddock, looking to see like who's broken, what are the stories that are out there. So we kind of take turns doing that too. In between
Chris,
black flag alls.
how are the tires?
Which tires?
Well, I heard a fun story that someone tried to pull a fast one on you.
I did bust 2 teams for cheaty tires this weekend. One was as they were going on grid, and I'm doing dick check. On Saturday morning, I just happened to look down at the tires that were there they're out, and I said, hang on a second. I looked down, and sure enough, they are 100 treadwear Toyo R888s. And I said, you need to go over to penalty box. I will see you there when we're done, because your tires are not legal. Yep. So everyone else got to see them changing their tires.
How is their attitude?
Oh, we got a really good deal on these.
So what?
And that car ended up blowing up immediately. It's like it didn't matter anyway. Once they
were going to win with those tires. Screw you, man. Yeah. We were going to win.
Yeah, they're totally going to win. And then I caught another one during one of the black flag alls. There was a team of Miata. There was a Miata team that had 100 treadwear on it, and they were supported by another team. And I don't think any of the people on this team with the Miata actually had any idea that these tires were not legal. I think they had been provided these, and they were like, "What?" And so we told them that, and eventually they changed them right away. And then later on said, "Hey, show me in the rule book where it says this." And we're like, "All right, right here."
The 5-page rule book. This isn't the SCCA.
190.
Buddy.
See, it's easy. But yeah, I after that I made it a habit of every time we had a black flag all, and in general, every time a car was in the penalty box, of taking a look at the tires. Are these
good on you? Good on you, because I am not. I know when I've done Dick Check, I'm not looking at the tires. So that's great that you were
I didn't
looking.
do it as much during Dick Check. I would put a casual glance at it, and usually
Yeah.
I could see an RS4 and a Zenith real easy. Like, okay, fine,
Yeah.
and that is 3/4 of the field.
And
then the other ones,
toy,
you take a look.
was it the 088s? The tread pattern on them is very specific. You can spot
Yeah.
that from a while.
Yeah. But after that, I don't know if people heard about it and just decided they weren't going to do it after all, or what, or people were most other people playing by the rules, which is what I hope so. But we didn't have any other problems after that. Tires.
And all of those cheaty tire teams lost to someone with snow tires, which where you get snow tires in Texas, I have no idea, but good on
Right?
them.
Right?
Right.
That's
I think he
nice.
said he brought them from Nebraska, and that's what he had. And later on, he put a Zenith on them when the it's funny. Once the snow tires really were just shredded, he put a Zenith on the front. He had previously had a Zenith on the back and snows on the front. Once he put a Zenith on the front, the car spun twice because they all of a sudden
Oh
had
no,
grip.
it's too slippery.
Right. Well, no, their grip ratio was way different.
Correct,
The car had
right.
been understeering like a pig all weekend and had all
Yep,
of the rear
so
grip, and now it actually had even grip and they couldn't drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the end of the day was actually particularly quiet. Not a whole lot going on. So we packed up things, got it all ready to go, and we were ready for the end of the race. But it was only 2 laps between the leader and second place. They both had the leader had a passenger yellow at the end of the day Saturday and sped in the pit, so we held
Really?
them for a while. And then the second place car, who was only within a lap at that point on Sunday, did the same thing. Then they hassled me because their impression was that I had held them longer than the time I had held them the leaders the night before, which was not the case. Yeah, that was totally the difference. That's why he lost.
Mhm.
But that was about it. It was a pretty calm day. The weather was lovely all weekend. It was warm, but
which
not
is
too hot.
unusual. Normally
No
it's either
rain.
miserable hot and or storming.
Yeah, weather was good. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Had our nice awards ceremony. Did all the cleanup things we have to do, folding up all the banners and put the cones away and do all that stuff. And then I hopped in the car and got Chris P and Joe to the airport because they were the ones that had to leave first. So we got them there and then met up at the hotel with the crowd who was staying Sunday night. So it was me, Rich, Dale, Sagi, Jan, and Tom. And then we went out and got some nice, delicious Mexican food at a place near the track and enjoyed a bit of one of Sagi's many bottles of whiskey he was bringing home, and called it a night. Flew out the next day, Monday, easy flight home. Came home, grouted the path.
Had a great plan to meet up with Chris for dinner and drinks before going to the airport, and it all just fell apart because
it did.
Yeah, the timing was not working out.
Because I had to go bring those guys to the track, and I felt bad because all of a sudden I'm telling Mental right at the end of the day, hey, I'm not bringing you to the airport. I am so very sorry. I feel bad. Also, because I could not fit Pickle Rick in the car with everyone's bags and people.
Yes. So thank you, Donnie. Dr. Florida Man. Dr. Florida Man gave me a ride to the airport. We were going to go meet up with Jan and all those folks. Mary had picked out a fantastic, cool restaurant not too far from the airport, but I did the math on how long it was going to take us to get there and then to the airport. And I have flirted with the Houston airport before, TSA wise, and it did not work out.
At Hobby or Bush?
Yeah, I was at Hobby.
See, I was up at Bush, and yeah, but so Mental Pickle Rick, we'll bring that in. There was a 5 foot tall Pickle Rick that was a bribe from somebody, and we were going to have people as their third penalty ride the pickle.
Yeah, it's an episode of Rick and Morty. Yes.
Mental said, no, I want it. So we didn't want to have people dragging it around the paddock riding the pickle all weekend, as funny as that would be. So we gave it, Mental had it in his paddock and he wrapped it all up to take it home. How'd that go?
I did. I had Pickle Rick. He was secured. He wasn't going to get filthy. I figured he's about the size of golf clubs. And I see that stuff coming into Vegas all the time, extremely light because it was effectively a long beanbag chair. And I arrived at the airport and they wanted 100 and yes. There's Pickle Rick right there. Yes.
Yeah. It's our staff meeting. Pickle Rick was definitely part of that.
Yeah. And it's basically at this point, it's a giant 2 garbage bags over a 5 foot,
pickle.
Yeah. phallic shaped pickle.
Okay.
Taped on with Gorilla Tape. And the guy's like, dude, that's oversized luggage. I'm like, it weighs 4 pounds. Yeah. It's the size of golf clubs. He goes, it's going to be like 100 and, initially he said 175 and he's like, oh wait, $125. And I liked Pickle Rick. I didn't like Pickle Rick that much. And I'm like, dude,
so what happened to him?
So I said, it's golf clubs. And he goes, well, what is it? I said, it's a giant bean bag shaped like a cartoon character. And by this point, now there are 3 ticket agents over there asking me about this thing. And I said, it's, he's like, well, what cartoon character? And I said, you ever watch Rick and Morty? And the one guy goes, oh, my daughter loves that show. I've watched it. I said, did you see the Pickle Rick episode? He goes, yeah. I goes, it's Pickle Rick. And he kind of gets all happy. And so I open it up and I show him this very well made Pickle Rick. He goes, oh man, my daughter would love that. Well, for $125, buddy, you're about to be your daughter's favorite person. So it went home with a gate agent from Southwest.
Oh, I mean, it's a fun story. It's sad that you couldn't take him home, though.
I know, because he would literally be right here. This is where Pickle Rick would live, next to my Pickle Rick painting that I also got in Houston one time. Actually, it was Lemon's Rick, but yeah. So, yes. Pickle Rick is loved. Pickle Rick is leading his best life. He's a 3-year-old eating ice cream at the Texas Roadhouse. So.
Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, I didn't realize it wasn't a blow up. I was trying to understand what that was.
At one point, I want to say, was it Friday or Saturday night? Dr. Mary is the same length as Pickle Rick, and she is laying perfectly on Pickle Rick. It's
a nice little resting spot. Yes.
So,
great.
Excellent.
Parting shots, Chris.
I have no just burning desire to go back. So I'll put it that way.
Right.
Like there's some tracks you leave, and it's like that you didn't get to drive, and said like I would like to go back and drive that, like HPR.
HPR, yes,
right.
all the day.
And there's some places you go that you're like, I just like the feel of this place. Again, like Colorado, for example. Like I just like being there.
Mm-hmm.
I had none of that here. Just wasn't my thing. Yeah.
I enjoy the people at MSR. I always have a good time at MSR, but your points about the track itself are pretty valid. And it's a shame because they are having a hard time trying to find golf tracks. Basically, it's NOLA and Houston. That's all you get. And so they're trying to get some more stuff.
Is Hallett not listed there?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, now
that's
they're back
Oklahoma,
at Hallett. Yes, now that Hallett.
Well, I wasn't sure what gap.
That's the Gulf region. Yeah, no, that counts. You're right, Chrissy. Yeah, and Hallett's a good one. So they're trying to get out there. It's a shame that they don't have more of those. All right. I threw this in there. Does anybody else have anything for just the tip?
No, your parting shots on that, or was that your parting shot?
That is my parting shot. I always have fun at MSR, either judging or driving or both. Well, actually, I've never done both, but yeah, one of
I had a good time. I'm not gonna, definitely. There's nothing about that. Just like, okay, done. Thanks. Next.
Mm-hmm. Not like you're talking about Laguna. You said you could spend hours at Laguna and still not catch every nuance. But yeah, Houston, yeah, you pretty much got it.
Yeah. My 2 laps on the bicycle was about all I needed to. Like, all right, forget this track further. We'll figure it out.
It's very much like Chrissy. It's very much like Button Willow, and it's flat. There's curves. There's one hill that they just made so that they can say they have an elevation change.
And that hill is way smaller than Willis Hill.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like a 3-foot rise and drop. That's it.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's no external references. It's all except instead of dirt, it's just green.
Yeah. You're selling me. This is awesome. Wow. Okay.
Right. There are better tracks.
All right. So, there are.
All right.
Mental, go for it. This is a great one.
Folks, just
the
tip. Pickle Rick's tip. We've talked about this, and we're going to continue to talk about this because this is a big point of safety, and it is jack stands. There's an article recently on Jalopnik that we've got linked in our show notes called "Crappy Jack Stands Can Kill You, But Which Ones Are Safe?" And on it, they talk about a YouTube video from a place called Farm, their farm test. And this is an extensive, exhaustive test of jack stands brands. Husky,
I've seen
Daytona,
this.
Big Red, Laren, Arkin, US Jack, Urco, Sunex, TCE, Hein Warner, ZSP. And he checks all of them for stability, measuring the amount of pounds it takes to tip over his Ranger from side to side, and also forward movement, measuring each of those on camera. They were compared for stability on a rubber mat to simulate soft asphalt. They are compared for handle functionality. He even tested how many pounds under load it takes to lift the handle to make the jack stand fail, and then finally put them under a hydraulic press to find out how many thousands of pounds, and in some cases hundreds of pounds, until those jack stands gave up. Takeaways, as always: lift on a stable surface. Do not get into a spot where there is significant side load on the vehicle. Overall, the winner appeared to be the $90 Husky jack stands from Home Depot. They took like 33,000 pounds of pressure. It was a good 180 pounds of side pressure to knock them off of their side. They were very stable. The handle was 300 pounds. So they're worth there. There was one that was slightly better, but they didn't have the same side to side measurement, and they were like 3 times as expensive. But it's a good video if you're looking into jack stands. And also it's good to look at if you are the type of person that makes modifications, like puts feet on your jack stands or puts plywood on them for certain tracks that make you have to have plates underneath your jack stands. You can see under this hydraulic press where they tend to fail and why. It's actually a really interesting video, something worth watching when you're sitting around on Saturday. Because racing season, you got 2 more races and it's basically over.
It is the saddest thing.
It is sad, but that means there's a new year. Just today, Champ Car released their schedule. There's no new interesting tracks. It's the same tracks they go to, Sebring, VIR, that sort of thing. But they released their schedule. I didn't think it was newsworthy, but we now look forward to a new season of racing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Thanks. I love safety tips. Thank you for providing this safety tip, because that is very important.
Yes, especially for anyone prepping their car to get put away for the winter. Yeah.
That's coming too.
Yes. All right. We have any idea what we're talking about next week?
No.
We'll come up with something.
Absolutely.
We always do. Maybe, sort of.
I don't know. Might just be another news episode. Who knows?
Something will inspire us, I'm sure.
Yep.
I guess You're not going to do the outro. You're busy. So
I'm sorry. I was busy doing other things.
I was going to say, this is normally where Chrissy and I make small talk as Chris grabs
we're going to make small talk anyway, because he's still working.
It's true, but I was doing an important thing of writing the
I know. It's important, but
it's important.
You all were just waiting for us to shimmy out of here.
Uh-huh. Yep. Thanks for shimmying out of here and downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. Also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, totally free, and go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated the penalty laps or the penalty I gave you, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text mental pictures of your junk, 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram, everyone.racers, and all the other things under Everyone Racers or everyone.racers. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the 10 gallons hat side up. Or unless you don't have one, then just go to the Roadhouse in Texas.